As you can see, behind my table is my reveal wall. I sell all of my images already printed and finished. You give me one camera with a good lens and you give me one girl, then I could make $3,000 a day. I've spent my life mastering my craft and I want to honor it by making beautiful portraits that are worth being paid, and you're worth being paid.
Got a tiny little camera room here, Jamie.
You know, it's funny how you can make things work, and this all came about as a total accident because when I first started, I only had enough money to buy 4 strobes. And so traditionally the studios that I'd worked for before, they had done the, you know, the background light where the cord was cut through the slit in the background, which always created problems of vignetting in the background and a hotspot in the center. And that was very popular back in that time period. But I developed a lighting concept that is actually how I think and photograph both indoors, outdoors, and on location. And one thing that Mary and I teach is this simple lighting concept, and it's really kind of so basic. And this will work not only in a small space, but it works in a huge space. You can set this up for proms or dances or families or anything. It works everywhere.
Awesome. So let's set this up just real quick.
Sure.
So this was actually a bedroom.
Was a bedroom,
we're in
and
a house.
we removed the wall and
so it's
installed a beam.
not very big. What is it, like maybe 10 by
it's
10?
It's 11 foot wide. It's 12 foot from here to the wall.
Okay.
And then I can back up here, as you can see, about another maybe 10 feet. But I kind of work primarily about in this position.
Okay, okay.
I work on a rolling camera stand, which allows me to change the camera height up and down faster than a tripod for indoors.
Sure, that makes sense.
Outdoors, I like a tripod, but inside I like this. And this is kind of the simple lighting concept. Basically, the whole crux of this concept is if the background receives the same diffused amount of exposure as the subject, and that's where you have your aperture set out, the background is always perfectly exposed, no matter what the background is. So if I meter the main light, and for me, everything in the camera room is at f11.
Okay.
That way I can use lens compression, backing up and zooming way in if I want to throw the child's face out of focus and just get their hands or feet. So I can
so when you say
achieve that
lens
look.
compression?
Oh yeah, lens compression would be using a longer more zoom lens. And again, by today's standards, I would be using the 28-300 lens. And by backing up and zooming way in, I can throw the background out of focus even at f11.
Okay.
Most photographers would buy a specialty lens, photograph the aperture wide open to get the same result. Which works. They're both kind of the same. You'll get a different look when you use a specialty lens wide open like the 85 or the 50. But I don't think clients know the difference between a little out of focus and a whole lot out of focus. They just know that the subject is sharp and the background falls gently out of focus. So I use those old camera techniques to give me a shallow depth of field when I'm working still at f11.
Okay.
And the secret to that is that I can do a child session, then a family session, then a bride, and then whatever else, and never have to worry about having enough depth of field that my subjects, no matter how many people are here, how many rows I build, will always be in focus. Plus, nothing in my camera room has changed except for the brands of what I use for the past 20 years.
Right, wow.
And what I do is, so my main light is f11. I like using a 3x4 or a 4x6 foot softbox. And this brand, these are Larson or Sweet Light. What I love about them is that they're the shallowest depth from the back to the front. And very important in a small space because I've tried other brands where the softbox actually sticks out about this far into the shot. So those aren't going to work. These are fantastic for working in small spots. So highly recommend those. And so if I've got the main light firing here at f11 in this position, I have a fill light. Now I prefer to use a fill light versus a reflector. Now we have the modeling light on here just for the video, but normally I have the modeling light off like this when I'm photographing. That way I can see the pattern of light on the face from the main light. I like a fill light because the subject can move anywhere in this range all around through here and still have the exact same amount of density on the shadow side, and even if it's a large group, the shadow side will be even from here to here. If I were to use a reflector, which is very popular these days, the reflector would have to move every time I move the main light. I'd have to remove the reflector. And normally only about 30% of a reflector is efficient in returning light. So if I were photographing a large group, I would need a huge reflector to try to get enough even consistency in those shadow areas. Doesn't work for me. Also, I don't like children being able to have to always reset them to the center.
Okay.
So in this concept, I can photograph if the child's over here and they're doing something crazy, I can photograph and still get the expression and get the image.
Okay.
Which is great. What makes this unique and different are these two lights that I've bounced off of the ceiling that are aimed kind of back toward the camera. What I'm doing is I'm turning the ceiling into a softbox, which is returning diffused light. And as we know, diffused light has no shadow. So I have no shadows except for where they're supposed to be around my feet. There's no shadows on the background because the light's coming directly from here. And the subject can either be here. Now they can't lean against this background because there's no wall back there to support it. But if this were a wall, as you'll see in some of the other things we're going to do, you can actually lean against the wall and it's still perfect exposure. So these two lights bounced off the ceiling, and my metering is this. When I want to meter one light, I retract the dome, I block the fill light with my body, and meter just the main light. When I meter the fill light, I block the main light and meter just the fill light. Okay? The reason I do that with all the lights on versus metering each light turned on separately with everything else off is when I take the exposure, all lights are on.
Okay.
So it only makes sense because when I turn all the lights on, it's going to add a little teeny bit of exposure anyway. And in a bounce light situation, you've got light coming from all different directions.
Sure.
So if I usually have about a 3-to-1 lighting ratio, so this is f11, my fill light's at 6.3. Okay. And then I dome out because I want to meter the light that's coming from all different directions at this point. And then I just pop the meter so that I get f11 evenly all the way across the background. Now, it works so perfect that I'm no more than a third of a stop off from here to here, which you can only control a third of a stop with your aperture and shutter speed anyway. So I'm 1/25 f11. The cool thing is that I have a little teeny hair light that's a little $60 AC Morris Slave. It's covered with a couple pieces of bounty paper to diffuse it because it's too bright. And this just gives me a little contrast and separation to the hair. Not enough that it would pick up sheen from like dark hair with gel in it like mine where it would look like it's greasy. But just enough that it would give it a little contrast because I've got diffused light coming here. The contrast is just going to add a little sparkle. Okay, not enough to create a shadow on the floor, but just give a little bit more separation. Even if that light were not on, because these lights are bounced off the ceiling, I get separation light. So I get detail in the hair and detail on the shoulders without ever having to add any extra light. And as you can see, I don't really have space enough to do that. So the cool thing is that if I even meter on top of my head, it's no more than a third of a stop off from everything. So what that tells me is the subject can move anywhere in this range and be no more than a half a stop off no matter what. So that allows me the freedom and the style to be able to photograph the way I do without having to reset the child to the center at each and every time. And I don't have to worry about it. The child's back here, great. Child's up here, great.
Because you're not working with assistants, so you do all of this by yourself. So this is giving you full range for when you're in here by yourself working.
And I have the parent always off to the side, and their job is in charge of hair and clothing. And the reason that is because I don't want Mary to get in the sales room and the mom to go, oh my God, I can't believe the outfit was that terrible or the hair was wrong. So mom's in charge of all of that. So there's no objections of that in the sales room. And that way, if the child needs a little nurturing, mom's right here.
Good. Setting expectations early.
Yes. The hard thing is just to make sure that the mom doesn't communicate with the child because they'll always trump me. So that's the only glitch there. But I never photograph a child without a parent being present. I never have the mom sit in another room and photograph here. It's not my style. I want mom to be an important part, and I want that child to have the security of knowing that mom's kind of right there.
It's part of that experience.
Exactly. One more thing I didn't mention. Because this is evenly exposed, I can put high key white paper here, or I can put black fabric, and I get perfect exposure every time without having to change anything. So I get the most beautiful high-key photography, and I'll give you a really good example. If you can pan to this image up here, you can see I didn't change anything at all to create that image, just put white paper down. And then conversely, if you can pan to this image, this is just black fabric on the floor, and the children are laying on the floor. I'm standing on easy steps photographing down on top of them, and you get amazing lighting. So for me, this is so fantastic because you never have to change anything except the background. The shadow sides automatically subtract a little bit of light and you get perfect exposure. So all I do is change backgrounds and I get that beautiful high key all the way to amazing low key photography and never have to change a thing.
I just love how you've created these systems that allow you to work really fast and be really great and efficient with your time.
And it's the way I work outdoors too. The only difference outside is I choose the environment for the accent and bounce lights, and I choose the ambient light for the fill. And then my main light is always a strobe. So it's just fantastic. It works great in this small space, and it was a total accident at first, but then once I started thinking about it a little bit more, it's amazing how consistent it is.
That's great. So now we're going to bring in the amazing little Carter.
Yes, and we're going to do a little bit of our classic Richmond portraiture. So this is very traditional. His outfit is very traditional, which is wonderful because that's our brand. So now I can show you how we work both outdoors and indoors too.
Awesome.
At some point in time, as you can tell with Carter, children get restless, their hands kind of move, and I'm not a big fan personally for our brand of the whimsical of just letting a child be a child. So I like to, again, use something that will allow the child to act favorably one way or another to what we're doing and keep everything posed. So I'm going to use a little sticker in Carter's hand. Carter, do you like stickers? Can you hold that one for me? Can you hold it with both hands? That's about as hard as it is to pose a child's fingers. And look how cute they are, and no matter what he does, they're going to be amazing. Hey, Carter, can you put this toey this way? I'll tell you what, I'm going to switch a little bit. Let's put that toey out like that, okay? Can you stay? Whoa, don't fall it down, Carter. Okay, stay right there, okay? Don't fall down, Carter. I'm going to switch now to remote control. And this is also something great. When your camera mounts on the tripod mount, you can go from horizontal to vertical in seconds. Hey, Carter. Hey, Carter, listen, I'm going to ask you a question. Can you hear the birds? Listen. Perfect. Okay, so right there's my series. Wall portrait, pensive expression, smile, and illustrative looking down. Hey, Carter, can you put your hands behind your back like this? Oh, that's good. Like that? Uh-huh. Silly! Now, this is the only time when I actually do have a few props. I have a few classic chairs that I use to photograph children with. And we keep these in different colors so I can switch this out depending on what coordinates with the outfit as well. But this is the only time when I'm doing something real formal inside. Carter, can you put your hand right here for me? Cover that sticker up. Yeah, don't let that sticker go, okay? That hand is never going to move from that spot throughout the rest of the session. Carter, can you put this toe up like this for me? Oh, that's good. Okay, leave it on its tippy toe. Like that, okay? I'm going to give you another sticker for that hand too, okay? Okay, here, hold this one just between that finger and that finger. Good job. Now, straps sometimes do fall down. You can safety pin them. You can use carpet tape. There's all kinds of stuff you can use. Just hold it down here like this for me, okay? Also, you just have to make sure that it's right between the legs because that's where it's going to bunch the most if it's going to bunch at all. Oh my gosh, what a great pose. And I've lowered the camera angle too, which adds more statuesqueness to him, if that's a word, so that it'll make him appear more tall and more in keeping with those wonderful older classic portraits that you'd see in oil paintings in museums. Hey, no, Carter. You do? Hey, you know what? Before we do that, how about if we put Teddy on your head? How about, would you like to sit up in this chair for me? Okay, I'm going to move it. You hold right there. Can you sit up in that chair? Go sit right in there for me for a sec. You still have your sticker, right? Okay, good. Okay, scooch on in. I'm gonna help you fix your feet. Scooch, 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 scooch. Here, stand up for a second. I'm gonna fix you. Okay, ready? Scooch on back. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, Jamie, when you said that he wasn't going to ever move his hand from that spot, you were correct. Mm-hmm. It's still there.
It's still there.
Let go.
Hey, Carter. I see you. Hey, you know what? Is that sticker still in your hand? Can you unfold it? Does it come apart? Look at that sticker. Where'd it go? Is it still? Oh, can you peel it off? Can you get it off of there? Hey, you know what we can do with that sticker? I have a book. Do you like books? You do? Do you think we can put your sticker in your book? But is there something on that sticker? Well, here, I'll tell you what. Why don't you hold this book? Here, hold it with this hand. Here, I'll tell you what. Put that sticker in the book first. Okay, good. Ooh, okay. So now hold the book with this hand. Okay. And now, can you put that sticker in? Oh, that's great. By keeping the main light on wheels, I can easily make sure the pattern of light works great. Yeah, you can close it. Hey. Hey, 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 hey. I see you. Okay, good. Can you stand up for me? And let's leave the book in the chair, okay? And can you walk around behind the chair for me? And can you hold right there for me with both hands? Oh, that's good. I'll tell you what, can you come around to this side? And let's put one hand here and one hand right here. Can you step on my toe with your toe? Okay, oh, wow, you're good at that. Okay, leave your foot out all the way out here, okay? All right, leave it right there just for a second. I'm just gonna grab this book. Don't you wiggle. Don't you wiggle. Shh. Stand real still, okay? Look, watch. Can you see my finger? Watch the spot. Okay, good. Now, okay, let me have the chair. We'll move that for a sec, okay? Can you stay right where you are? You do? Why, what are you going to do at home? Are you going to take a nap? No, that's crazy. Hey, Carter, can you sit in this chair for me? See if you can sit there. Come around to the front. Oh, you want to sit like that? Okay, cross your feet for a sec. Oh, did you see that? Okay, that's the shot. Now, because the main light's opposite his face, even though he looked in the opposite direction, because I'm using a fill light, I'll still get exposure enough on the face that that's a sellable image. But I love that look. By having the main light on wheels, I can easily do. Hey, Carter. Hey, whoa. Hey, look, what's the other side? Ah, Carter, look at me, you silly goose. You can't see me. You can't see me.
Strap.
Wait, stay right there. Don't you move. 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 Oh, hey, Carter. Good. Okay, you can stand up from there. Good job. Walk around to the front. Come around this way. Okay, you want to sit down? Cross your feet. Awesome. I'm going to scoot you back just a little bit, okay? I love to make sure the children's feet are crossed. Now, other than moving the main light around to that side, I primarily keep the main light for the majority of the session on the same side, just for continuity purposes. When Mary goes, if Mary decides to sell an album or a panel, I like the light, the main light on the subject's face to all come from the same direction. It gives it a little bit more of a refined look in a panel versus a more scrapbooky kind of feel of different images put together. Hey, Carter. Whoa, what are you doing? Are your feet falling apart? Hey, Carter, can you cover up your ears like this? Can you cover up your mouth? Can you cover up your eyes? Silly. Can you do like this? Can we show your mean face? Show me your happy face. Show me your sad face. Good job. All right, stand up from there, bud. All right, so we're going to do one more thing and then we'll be all done. Can you sit down on the ground for me? Can you sit crisscross applesauce? How you do that? Let me show you. Okay, watch. Boom. Here, can you put both feet like this? Can you put your hands around your knees like this? Hold on real tight, okay? That's great. So here's an example of how I can work off the side and create a really long, amazing look. Hey, Carter. What's on your toe? Is there something on your toe? Can you make your big toe stick up like that? Wow, can you make the other one do it? Yay! Can you hide your head all the way like this? Hey, Carter. Whoop, leave your head down. Put your head back down. Carter. Whoa! Cute. Okay, stand up for me, bud. Cool. All right. Last picture, okay? All right, come here for me. Walk around this way. So this is what we call our 20-20-20. 20 poses we can do in 20 minutes that give Mary 20 different sales varieties and options. So I know that if I follow this 20-20-20, even if I have a session that doesn't go exactly the way I want it to, or the children are acting up in some way or fashion, I still am able to give her enough ammunition that in the sales room she can still make bank with no matter what session. Now you can choose your own 20-20-20 poses, but I have them in my heads because I can crop from full length to 3/4 to close up without ever having to do anything but zoom the camera lens. So now I'm just going to finish up with a little close up stuff of Carter to get different expressions and looks, and then we'll be done with this session. Last one. Both hands here. 1, 2. Can you put your chin right there on top? Right there. Carter, can you take your feet and go like this? Now, by doing that, I've lowered his camera height a little bit, so his actual body height, so now it's perfect for his chin. And I can have him step his feet apart wider, and I'll still be able to bring his chin and his whole balance and shoulders down so that I can see his face. Otherwise, in that position with both of his feet together, he was blocking his face, and it didn't look as natural. Carter, I see you. Hey, buddy. Hey, Carter, look here. Okay, put your chin back down. Open your eyes. Did your eyes close? Why did you close your eyes? Hey, Carter, look. Wait a minute. Listen, Carter, watch. Put your chin down real easy. One more time, right there. So, are you doing the happy dance? Okay, wait a minute. One more shot. Look at me, Carter. Watch. Last one. You ready? Stay right there. Don't move. Watch my finger. Carter. Carter. Carter! How many fingers is this?
1,
How many is this?
2,
How many is this? Oh, I made you look silly. Hey, Carter, can you lay your head all the way down like this? Okay, look at Mr. Jamie for a second. Can you lay your head all the way this way? Mm-hmm. Now, the only thing I have to do there is sometimes I have to move the main light a little bit, but when it's on wheels, it's just so easy to do. And that's an indoor session. Thank you, Carter. All done. You want to get a lollipop now? Yay!
Jamie, what I love about this is simplicity. It's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when you just had him seated and, you only have, we're going to go get some lollipops, I think.
Lollipops are very important to this process.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. If you make a promise to a child, you better make sure you keep it, because if you forget, they certainly won't. But yeah, I like keeping everything very simple and classic and timeless. The more, for our brand, the more things I have in the photo for indoor portraits, the more chances I have for there to be objections in the sales room. And this is kind of a great example too. And this was totally arranged so that I would have the infant. He wasn't quite sitting up as easy. He's about 9 months old, but the triangle composition and the pretty lighting, it allows them to move anywhere you want to.
I love that.
And that's what we do. We highlight, now that position changes depending on the season. So we switch our oil paintings out a little bit depending on what is the next thing that we have coming up as far as time of year.
Okay, great.